Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Absolutely.
Today we're tackling the Buddha's life, but not in the way you might expect.
Definitely not a typical biography.
We're going visual. Like, imagine a graphic novel, but carved in stone centuries ago.
We're talking about the Lalitavistara reliefs on the Borobudur temple in Indonesia.
Borobudur itself is mind-blowing.
Hmm.
World's largest Buddhist monument, right?
It is. Dates back to the 8th or 9th century. Picture a massive stone library, and on its walls,
These intricate carvings tell the Buddha's story, almost like a visual guide to his journey,
from the heavenly realms all the way to his first sermon after Enlightenment.
which is what we're going to trace together. But here's the thing. This isn't just AMY telling of the Buddha's life, is it?
You've hit the nail on the head. The Lalitavistara is a key text, especially in Mahayana Buddhism. It's all about the bodhisattva ideal.
Okay, for folks who aren't familiar with that.
Mahayana Buddhism emerged a few centuries after the Buddha's passing. It's all about striving for the liberation of all beings, not just your own.
So compassion on a huge EE scale. That's the bodhisattva path.
Exactly. And the Lalitavistara tells this part of the story, from the bodhisattva's descent from heaven to that first teaching.
But even within Mahayana Buddhism, this text is kind of strange, right?
How do you mean?
Well, it's got prose, it's got poetry, and I even read there are some contradictions in there. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle where some pieces don't quite fit.
That's a great way to put it. It's almost like the text itself is trying to weave together different threads of the Buddha's life, acknowledging that there are multiple ways to understand his journey.
And that's where Borobudur's visuals come in, don't they? They add this whole other layer of interpretation.
Absolutely. Sometimes the reliefs actually depict scenes that aren't even found in typical Lalitavistara texts.
Wow, so they're like adding their own commentary to the story.
Exactly. It's like the artists were inspired by the text, but also felt free to offer their own visual interpretations.
So cool. Okay, so we start our journey into way to heaven. The bodhisattva, in this version of the story, is called Svetaketu, is already surrounded by all these divine beings. He's got it made, right?
Yeah.
Yet, he chooses to be reborn on Earth. And not just for kicks, but for the benefit of all beings. I mean, why?
That act of choosing is crucial to the whole bodhisattva path. It's compassion in action.
It's easy to say compassion, but to leave a perfect heavenly realm to deal with all the messiness down here.
That's the point, isn't it? It's not about escaping suffering. It's about willingly engaging with it to help others find liberation.
Yeah, that's a lot to wrap your head around.
Makes you think about free will versus destiny, too. Like, he's choosing this, but there's this whole cosmic setup going on around it. How do you see the reliefs depicting that?
Well, look at how the gods are portrayed. They're actively participating in the preparations for the bodhisattva's rebirth. They're not passive bystanders.
Oh, right. They even suggest different forms for him to take when he enters the womb.
One suggestion that always sticks with me is the six-tusked white elephant. A six-tusked. What? Why an elephant, of all things?
Elephants were super significant in ancient Vedic beliefs even before Buddhism came about. They often symbolize power, auspiciousness, and even a connection to the divine.
Okay, so by suggesting an elephant, the gods are sort of hinting at the bodhisattva's future greatness, his divine purpose.
And the six tusks. That's likely amplifying that symbolism even further. It's like saying this birth is exceptional, marked by incredible qualities and potential.
It's almost like, yeah, a cosmic dance between free will and destiny, with these ancient beliefs woven in.
Exactly. The bodhisattva is making a choice, but he's also stepping into a role that's part of a much larger cosmic play.
And all this is before he's even born. Then we get to the actual birth scene at Lumbini, under a fig tree, attended by gods. But this is no ordinary baby shower.
Not at all. The reliefs show the bodhisattva immediately after birth, taking 7 steps.
7 steps, like as a newborn. That's got to be symbolic.
And the symbolism is key. He's not just walking, he's walking on lotus flowers.
Okay, lotus flowers. Those are everywhere in Buddhist imagery.
They represent purity, spiritual awakening, the idea of rising from muddy waters to blossom in the light.
So these 7 steps, are they like a visual metaphor for the bodhisattva's whole path to enlightenment?
Precisely. The artist is saying, pay attention. This child is special, destined for greatness. It's foreshadowing his future journey right from the start.
It's amazing how much the artist could convey without any words. And throughout the bodhisattva's childhood, the reliefs keep emphasizing his extraordinary nature.
You see statues bowing before him, jewels losing their luster in his presence.
It's like he's radiating something powerful, even as a kid.
His name during this time is Sarvarthasida, which means one who achieves all goals. But the reliefs also show signs of his growing detachment, even amid all the luxury.
Oh, right. There's that scene where he's meditating under a tree, and even as the sun moves, his shadow stays put.
A beautiful detail. The motionless shadow symbolizes a mind that's becoming still, unmoved by external changes. It's a hint of the renunciation to come.
He's already starting to see through the illusions of the material world, even as a prince.
Hmm.
And then, well, things get real, don't they? He has those famous 4 encounters.
Ah, yes, the 4 encounters, pivotal moments depicted with such drama in the Borobudur reliefs. The king is trying to protect his son, keep him in this bubble of comfort and pleasure.
But the gods have other plans.
They step in, almost like divine stage directors, and orchestrate these encounters with old age, sickness, death, and finally a wandering ascetic.
It's like they're forcing him to confront the true nature of existence, what lies beyond the palace walls. I'm guessing these encounters don't go over so well.
You could say that. Each one chips away at the prince's attachment to those illusions of permanence, beauty, those things we cling to.
He's having to face the fragility of life head on. It's a pretty stark awakening.
But essential for his journey. And it's not just him having these unsettling experiences. His wife, Gopa, she has a nightmare full of disturbing imagery.
Oh, wow. So even within the palace, these deeper realities are breaking through. How does the bodhisattva react to her dream?
Now this is interesting. He doesn't dismiss it as just a bad omen. Instead, he interprets it positively.
Positively how?
He links the unsettling imagery to Gopa's good deeds, suggesting that even challenging experiences can hold hidden meaning.
Wow, that's a completely different way to view a nightmare. Not as something to fear, but as an opportunity for insight. You don't hear that very often.
And it reflects the bodhisattva's growing spiritual awareness, his ability to see beyond the surface. He's recognizing the interconnectedness of things, how even difficult experiences can serve a purpose on the path to awakening.
It's almost like he's saying, don't shy away from the darkness, look deeper, there's wisdom to be found there. Which brings us to, well, the big moment, the great departure, when the prince leaves everything behind.
Yeah, the great departure. The moment the prince chooses the spiritual path over worldly life. And the reliefs really capture the drama of it.
Yeah, how so?
It's the dead of night. The bodhisattva is determined to leave, to seek a way beyond suffering. He's got to do it in secret so he doesn't cause, like, an uproar. And guess who steps in to help?
I'm going to guess the gods. They seem pretty invested in his success.
Right on. It's almost like they're a divine heist crew, making sure everything goes smoothly, putting people to sleep, silencing the hooves of his horse Kanhaka so no one wakes up.
Silencing the hooves. That's such a specific detail. It really paints a picture, doesn't it?
The artists knew how to build suspense, and once he's out of the palace, there's this powerful scene where he cuts off his hair.
Right, a classic symbol of renouncing worldly attachments.
And even there, the gods are present, holding the platter for his hair. It's like they're witnessing and honoring this transformation. It's a big deal.
So at this point, he's fully committed. He's left it all behind. Does he, like, instantly achieve enlightenment now?
Not quite. And this is where the Borobudur reliefs offer a really important teaching. They show the bodhisattva spending years seeking, trying different paths, studying with teachers, practicing austerities, really pushing himself to the limit.
So even for someone like the Buddha, enlightenment wasn't a quick or easy process. There was no magic shortcut.
Exactly. It was a journey of trial and error, facing challenges, overcoming temptations.
I mean, he even encounters Mara, right? The demon king who throws everything he's got at the bodhisattva to try to stop him.
That's right. Mara represents all those forces that try to pull us away from the spiritual path. Doubt, fear, attachment to worldly things.
And the reliefs don't hold back on depicting this spiritual battle. It's intense.
It is. It shows that even someone on the bodhisattva path faces inner and outer obstacles.
But he keeps going, which, that's encouraging in a way. It means that even when we struggle, even when we get knocked down, we can always get back up and keep striving.
And during this period of intense practice, there's this other fascinating detail. The gods, seeing how hard he's pushing himself, they offer to nourish him magically.
To make it easier on him. Give him a little divine boost.
Exactly. But he refuses. He insists on achieving enlightenment through his own honest effort, not through some supernatural shortcut.
He's choosing the path of integrity, even if it means enduring hardship. There's a real lesson in that, isn't there? But the value of self-reliance, of facing challenges head on.
Absolutely. It's like he's saying the journey itself is as important as the destination. This refusal to take the easy way out speaks volumes about the nature of true spiritual growth.
Yeah. No pain, no gain, as they say. And finally, after all this searching and striving, we arrive at the climax of the story, the Bodhisattva's awakening under the Bodhi tree. What did the reliefs tell us about this pivotal moment?
It's interesting. Even in this pivotal moment, the reliefs show us this playful side of the divine realm. The gods are like super busy decorating 84,000 trees.
84,000? That's a lot of trees. What's going on there?
Well, each god is hoping that the bodhisattva will choose to sit under their tree for his final meditation. You know, the one that leads to enlightenment.
Oh, so it's like a divine competition. Pick my tree. Pick my tree.
You could see it that way. But here's where things get really wild. The reliefs show the bodhisattva using his super advanced concentration to appear under all 84,000 trees at the same time.
Hold on, what? He's in like 84,000 places at once. That's some serious multitasking.
It's a powerful visual, right?
Yeah.
It's like the artist is trying to capture the boundless potential of the awakened mind, its ability to transcend the limits of space and time.
It's mind-blowing, honestly. So how do the reliefs actually depict the moment of awakening, when he goes from Bodhisattva to Buddha?
The visual shift, everything becomes more serene, ethereal. You see the Buddha bathed in this radiant light, emanating a sense of profound peace and wisdom. The gods are there, of course, rejoicing, showering him with celestial flowers.
It's like the whole cosmos is exhaling this sigh of relief, celebrating this triumph over ignorance and suffering. It's beautiful. But the story doesn't end there, right? He doesn't just like kick back and enjoy his enlightenment.
Nope, there's more to come. The reliefs actually show the Buddha hesitating to teach it first.
Hesitating?
Yeah.
Why? He's got the wisdom now.
He does, but he believes his realization is just too profound, too hard to put into words. He thinks people won't understand.
It's like, imagine trying to explain a dream, that feeling you just can't quite capture. Maybe that's what he's going through. But then how do his teachings spread?
It's actually the gods who step in again. They implore him, practically beg him to share the Dharma. They recognize how valuable his insights would be for all beings.
Wow, so even the Buddha needed a little nudge to get going.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of reassuring, actually. It makes him seem more relatable, you know? Like, even after reaching this incredible state, he still had doubts and needed support. Okay, so what happens next?
The reliefs show us the Buddha's journey to Sarnath, the place where he'll give his first sermon. But it's not a direct path. It's more like a meandering journey, full of encounters along the way.
So more obstacles.
Not necessarily obstacles, but definitely encounters that shape his path. He meets these nagas, serpent deities who offer him protection. He also has these philosophical debates with some skeptical ascetics who challenge his views.
It's like the universe is testing him one last time before he steps into his role as a teacher, making sure he's really ready. So he finally reaches Sarnath, and this is where he sets the wheel of Dharma in motion, right? That first sermon.
Exactly. The reliefs depict him teaching the Four Noble Truths to his first 5 disciples. Those truths are the foundation of Buddhism. They offer a way to understand the nature of suffering, its causes, and the path to liberation.
But as we wrap up our visual journey here, it's important to remember, this is just the beginning, right? The first sermon isn't the end of the story.
Absolutely. It's the start of this incredible tradition that's touched countless lives over centuries.
And I think what's really cool is that the Lalitavistara and the Borobudur reliefs, they're just one interpretation of the Buddha's life.
Right. Early Buddhist schools had their own versions of the story with different details, different emphasis. Even within one tradition, there's this diversity of perspectives.
Which makes it all the more fascinating to explore, right? It shows us that even these ancient stories are still alive, still open to interpretation. And ultimately, the journey of understanding the Buddha's teachings, it's a personal one, a continuous unfolding. So if you're as captivated by these reliefs as we are, definitely do some digging, see what resonates with you. Maybe check out the Lalitavistara text, or even plan a virtual trip to Borobudur. It's a truly awe-inspiring place, a testament to human creativity and spiritual aspiration. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.
Step into the heart of Borobudur, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Uncover stories etched in over 1,000 narrative panels. Wander through every corridor in a 360-degree virtual tour, or experience it all in virtual reality tour. Download a complete photobook. Modern captures and rare historic images are all at your fingertips. Preserve this legacy, share its wisdom, and deepen your understanding. Begin your journey now. Visit medialoca.co.